Hey guys, how's everybody doing today? I just wanted to come on here again. We got another guest. His name is Jody Chocolate Thunder Williams, and he's a hell of an arm wrestler. And I can't wait to get him on here and talk a little bit. And so just stay tuned. And he's getting ready to come on, and we'll hit him off with some questions. Can you hear me, Jody?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you good. I can see you good. Everything looks
Nice.
good.
Yeah, I probably had to do it through my phone. For some reason, my computer is acting weird. So I was like, well, I got to download it on my phone. So let's go ahead and do that and see what happens. So,
Well, hey, we persisted and we got it going. That's what's important.
yes, sir. Hey, thanks for having me on the show, by the way.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So if everybody's, I've already had a little spiel and said that Jody Williams would be coming on, and so if it's all right, I'll just start firing off with some questions.
Let's do it, man. Let's have some fun.
All right, cool. We'll just start out with what's your age, where are you from, and what's your weight?
I am Jody Williams, age 46, and I live in Bend, Oregon, and I'm sitting at 232 pounds.
232 pounds. So you normally arm wrestle the 220s?
I probably should be in the 220s. I just kind of fell off the wagon a little bit. I'm in the 242 class, but if I really want to, get down to it, I should probably be in the 220 class.
Okay, got you. Just wondering. So how long have you been arm wrestling for?
This is year number 12 for me.
Year number 12. Wow.
Yes.
So what can you kind of tell us a little bit about what it was like when you first started?
Well, here's a funny thing. Since you brought that up, when I started, we used Velcro straps.
Uh-huh.
And that was the thing then. And arm wrestling was different. There wasn't a lot of social media going on. The only two things you had in our sport was either Gary Roberts with Arm TV, or you had the Northeast message board. That was the only thing you had. Mm-hmm. So if you wanted to know what upcoming tournaments were coming up, you go to the message board. Then after that, everybody waited for that Monday morning after the event, because that's when the results were posted. So, and that kind of died off, and, Facebook and YouTube kind of took over from there. And, it was fun, but arm wrestling was, it was different because it was more about pride. I think now we're in an era where it's all about money now. And that, depending on who you are, that could be good, it could be bad. Good if you're the individual, because you can go out there and get these challenge matches or super matches and get paid for them. The downfall is that now those guys that you would want to pull in a tournament and compete against, they're not there anymore. And now the tournament kind of took a hit, to where, 2011, 2012, heck, a tournament for first place was like $300, but it was who you had to pull to get to that $300. Now it's just like, what some of the elite, not all, but some of the elite, you ask them, hey, love to come to have you come to my tournament. And some of them will say, well, what's the first place prize? And, oh, it's, $400. And some may say, yeah, it's not worth my drive. It doesn't pay me, or, it has to pay for my trip. That's where we're at right now. I think, WAL, for good and bad, probably has something to do with that. When you have a lot of athletes that kind of had a piece of the pie, or bite of the apple, so to speak. And heck, when they're going to the big tournaments then, which I think they should probably get back to, heck, you got paid all the way to 8th place. And 8th place was more than what tournaments were first place were, 10 years ago.
Yeah, so it's all, the way you're explaining it, you're making it, it almost seems like that people like WAL, they did a good thing. Nobody's talking about that, but it's almost as if they set the bar real high, but then couldn't continue on with it. So now some of these other guys are like, well, hey, I'm used to making this kind of money, or they kind of feel like this is what I'm worth. And so I'm not willing to just go out for the fun of arm wrestling, or just to put my arm on the table, unless it's going to be lucrative.
Well, I'm cut from a different cloth, meaning that, I just want to compete. Like, I don't want to use arm wrestling as a platform to make an economic, deal from. If I go to a tournament, I'm up here going, all right, talk to my wife, babe, there's a tournament I want to go to. And we sit there, we talk about it, the ins and outs. Hey, Can we do this? Can we not do this? Okay, fine. Let's go ahead and try to get you a hotel. Let's go ahead and try to get you, airfare, or if it's driving distance, get you a rental car, whatever the case may be. And we use that as like, okay, that money's spent. Now, there's times my wife does come with me to events. There's times I go by myself, and there's times where I've gone to events where, the promoter paid for either my hotel, or he put me up in an Airbnb, or he actually paid for my airfare. And I'm very, very grateful that was happened to me.
100%.
I didn't expect it, but it was grateful that it happened to me. So, I've been on both sides of the fence when it came to some stuff like that. So
Definitely. So you think also heard you mention something about some of the bigger, older tournaments before everything kind of became super match frenzy. And
right.
so, in your opinion, do you think that people being more involved in more local tournaments would help grow arm wrestling more, or would kind of get the fire lit again more, so to speak, for how things used to be?
Yeah, I'll say this. There's certain things that kind of, gave the sport a shot in the arm. UAL was one of them. When they were the first original league that kind of paid athletes. Then Wall kind of took over, and Wall came off the heels of the Game of Arms, right? That was another shot in the arm. And I'm thinking, okay, that's what we needed. And a lot of people kind of saw that. And it's weird because that will happen in 2013. Here we are in 2022. It seems like it happened like a few years ago. But looking back at that, you kind of go, okay, you need stuff like that. Nowadays, I think a tournament for a big turnout for the promoter, that you need maybe a super match where you got two big names, and then those big names itself will draw more people from that area to come to that tournament. I mean, I think we're at that point now.
Yeah. Yeah, where it's almost like you got to kind of bring celebrities to get, more people. I can definitely see that. If John Brzenk or Devin Larratt comes within 4 hours of my house, there's gonna have to be something like legitimate happen for me not to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Type
well,
of
I'll tell
thing.
you what. So back last fall, late summer, early fall, and Michael Todd, him and his wife Rebecca did this cross country trip, right? They had the RV and everything.
Yep.
While living in Bend, Oregon. And they came in Multnomah Falls, right outside of Portland, which I was born and raised there. But living in Bend, Oregon now, that's about a 3-hour drive. So Michael Todd always came to the West Coast, Pacific Northwest, here and there, and I could never go. Either I had to work, or I went back to school. And so I was like, you know what? When I heard he was coming out there, Multnomah Falls, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna take a sick day from work, and I'm gonna drive up there. And me and my teammate drove up there. And here's the funny part, because I called in sick, and then like maybe 15, 20 minutes later, I'm on the road with my teammate. My boss calls me, "Hey, you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm all right. I'm all right. Do you need anything? Want me to stop by?" I'm like, "No. We're good. We're good. Just kind of, because I didn't want to miss this opportunity. But the arm wrestling, when we got there, was secondary. I don't know if you ever heard of Multnomah Falls, but it's a big hike to the top of the falls. We actually took a hike first. So we went up there, took a hike to the very, very top of the falls, came back down, we're chit-chatting, making small talk, came back to the parking lot where his RV is. And then, he took a break, took the dogs, had them go potty or whatever. Then he brought his table out. And then everybody was lining up, kind of told us what the rule was. Hey, man, I'm going to let you guys hit, and I'm going to just try to, come back from a loose position to pull you back over. That's cool. That's cool. Nobody did anything to him, but I got a couple good hits on him left, and that was fun though. I mean, I don't take it as like I can beat Michael Todd left-handed, but it was a situation, and it's on YouTube, that I took and said, you know what? I know what it feels like to actually go against a top elite level puller. That was fun.
Yeah, that sounds like it would be an awesome experience for sure.
Yes.
So real quick, since we're kind of talking about the kind of how things were and how they used to be, do you mind talking a little bit about any kind of changes you've noticed from people who you may suspect to be on PDDs or steroids, or just how much you think it may or may not have changed over the years?
I think when I first got into it, it was like it was taboo. It was more like, don't ask, don't tell type of thing. Everybody kind of kept quiet. I think now, 12 years later, there are more people out there who admit to doing that. And my whole thing was like, you know what? Don't lie about it. I mean, if you're on it, fine. I got friends that I know who are on that.
Uh-huh.
And, what they do is not going to change my friendship with them.
Mm.
My only issue when people do that is when they try to lie and say, "Hey, I've been working hard." I'm like, well, no one's denying that. No one's ever going to say you don't work hard for it. But don't sit there and go to a tournament and act like, "Oh, I've been working hard and stuff, and that's how I've been getting my games." But we all know that you have a little extra advantage, and
Mm-hmm.
and when you come into the match, it's not even an even playing field. You already know that. I've actually competed against guys who were on PEDs, but I didn't know that till after the tournament was done.
Mm-hmm.
Now I was like, oh damn, I didn't realize that. Didn't change my opinion about them. I just think some people may abuse them, and if you use them the right way, that's fine, I guess. But me personally, I'm not into like challenging people who are actually all the way on it that I know going into the match, because it's not, come on, man. I mean, I think Travis Bajan made a comment. He goes, he's the reason why people take steroids,
Uh-huh.
and I thought that was kind of funny, but I sat there and thought about it for a second. I was like, you know what? He's not wrong. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I mean, it all depends, because in this sport, I'll tell you this: in this sport, everybody has a different path. Not everybody has the same path.
Yep.
Some people want to be the elite pullers, which if you're up at that elite echelon, I'm sure somebody's doing something, right?
Yeah.
I don't sit there and watch them, intake all that stuff, but someone's doing something. Whereas me, I'm the common puller. I'm the
Yeah.
lunchbox guy. Go in there, clock in, go to this tournament, do the best I can, clock out. Now the tournament's over. Let's go have a beer. Let's go get a bite to eat. Let's sit there and talk shop.
Yeah.
That's me, right? Yeah, but I think now it's just more people are more open to it now, as before it was more of the hush hush thing.
Uh-huh. Yep. And I can give me just a second.
Yes.
Answering that for sure. I already turned the ringer off once on this thing.
How dare those people interrupt our interview?
How dare they? Don't they know how important arm wrestling is?
Exactly.
Sorry about that. I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want anybody else to hear it either. We won't hear it now. And so yeah, I definitely agree with that. The statement that stood out to me about what you just said was just be honest about it. And
Right.
that just applies kind of across the board, we've had
Right.
some instances in our personal, like where the guys we train with, is some guy come in from out of town and blatantly lied to two of our guys' face just about how much experience he had. Is that
Right.
like really a big deal? No. But if you're gonna come in somebody's house and say, yeah, man, I've only like really pulled once or twice, I'm just kind of getting into it. And then somebody looks on your Facebook and 5 years ago, you're wearing a WAL shirt and literally having like a legit table time. You know what I mean? I mean, that's not really
Right.
that's not cool. I don't appreciate that,
I think social media has a play in all this also. And you probably know as well as I do. There are those guys out there, I'm not going to sit there and drop names, but we all know there's guys out there who, perceive them as a certain way. Fine, no big deal. Everybody wants to put on their own highlight reel.
Yeah.
I got stuff out there. I got stuff out there of me losing too, right? Doesn't bother me. And some people get paranoid when, you're at a big practice and all of a sudden, if you're the guy from out of town and you grip up with somebody, all of a sudden here come all the cameras, here comes all the
right.
camera phones, everything. And God forbid you take a loss, whatever. Then all of a sudden that gets on social media and it's like, hey, and all of a sudden, they get all awkwardly disgruntled. And I'm like, it comes down to this. Like when it's practice, it's just that. I don't care about practice, because my theory is that look stupid in practice so you don't look stupid at a tournament, right?
Hey,
So take all your losses at a practice, because for me, it's like I'm trying different things. I don't care. I'll tell anybody I'm the slowest, weakest person in the slow pull. I'm not that strong there, because for me, slow pull, it's more of, okay, you go, I'm gonna see if I can try to stop it and hold on to it. That's how I engage my strength. So that's why I kind of go when I work out in my gym, in my garage, I'm working on my power. Does that translate to the table? Well, let's see. Let's just say you and I, Derek, on the table, and I've been training for the last X amount of months. All right, Derek, I'm gonna have you go. I'm gonna see if I can stop you, whether it be hook, can I hold you here, or top roll, can I stop your top roll and turn you back in? That's gonna tell me my workouts is working or not, right? But for me, it's just I post all kind of stuff. Me winning, me losing. It is what it is. I'm not, like I said, I don't take myself too seriously. I think some people do. especially
Yeah.
with social media, because God forbid it winds up on YouTube or Facebook or whatnot, and people just get weird when all of a sudden there's a post of them losing. It's not that serious, because I think people lose sight of in this sport in arm wrestling, you're never going to go undefeated. This is
Never.
not a sport where you're going to go undefeated unless you pull one match, you have to win, just say, all right, I'm done.
Yeah.
Then you're not a real arm wrestler, right?
That's 100% right. If you're not taking losses, then you're not trying, you're not, against hard enough competition. You're not trying to advance, or you're not trying to get better because you're not, up against people who are as good or better than you.
Right.
Is the way I would look at it. But you are absolutely right. I've seen that, and I've even actually been on the receiving end of that. For some reason, when you lose in a tournament, I would always have a tendency to think that everybody in the room just saw that,
Right.
and that and somehow me losing is gonna stick out more to them than everybody else who lost, But every arm wrestling match has a winner and a loser, and so you might as well get used to losing, because it's gonna happen a lot if you're gonna be any good. I've figured that out.
But when you do lose, it's not a real big deal, because if you lose, does it make you the worst person ever? No. Does it make you the weak arm wrestler? No. So I'll give you a prime example. What happened last weekend between Ron Bath and Chance Shaw? Chance put up 2-0. I'm thinking, oh, wow, Chance. I mean, he really needs this, because he's like knocking on the door. And he's been pulling these elite guys, but he's been taking loss here, loss there.
That's right.
And if he can some way, somehow get a win on Ron Bath, now he breaks the glass, right?
Yeah.
Now, Ron came back and won 3 straight. But even though Chance lost, does that make Chance a horrible arm wrestler? No, it doesn't.
No.
And I think people, they get so wrapped up to themselves where they want to, put their best product out there. I got that. We all do, but I understand, for me, I'm not afraid to lose, because for me, not being afraid to lose already eliminates one thing I don't have to worry about, right? And it's going to come, I don't want it to come, but it's going to come. And if it does, okay, guess what? I lost. I'm still married. I didn't lose my house. My kids still love me. There we go. My wife didn't leave me. I'm good. It's not that serious. I think people take it too seriously sometimes.
100%. So, how would you say a training week, or maybe like a gym session, would look for you? Do you stay pretty consistent, or do you do different things throughout the week?
It depends on if I'm getting ready for a tournament or I'm getting ready for a certain individual.
Okay.
So in my garage downstairs, I got this dry erase board. Okay. And I put certain workouts pertaining to that guy I got coming up. I have a match coming up next month in Idaho. And now here's the funny thing. He's an amateur, but I've seen some videos, and as far as the gym portion of it, guy can blow me out the water with all the lifts, but this ain't a powerlifting meet either. So he needs to understand that. However, the thing is, though, is that I'm thinking, okay, he has a strong hand. I think I have a strong hand. I got to be able to sit there and just make sure my cup is on point. I got to make sure my grip's on point. My pronation's on point. If I need to go into a hook, I can go ahead and do that. So I work specifically on those lifts up until probably the Wednesday of the event. And then I just lay low, do a lot of hand grippers just to kind of keep the blood flowing. And then once that's all said and done, then I'll go back to my other lifts, like, we'll do some shoulder presses or tricep presses or things like that. But the closer I get to an actual event, it's more of the arm wrestling related exercises and workouts.
All right, cool. So would you say that you hit a weekly table practice? Try to?
Yeah, me and the guys get together once a week on Saturday mornings, because we're all family men, right? So there's a reason why we get together on 10 a.m. on Saturdays. So that way we get our 2 hours in. Once we're done, everyone's off, to their own and to enjoy the rest of the weekend with their families and stuff.
Right.
But now, since it's summertime and the weather is nice and people are going camping, all that kind of stuff, we may have to meet like once every 2 weeks. That way we can kind of balance that time off, because, you got kids and all of a sudden, school's out. So you got to kind of really find that happy medium, So
yeah, definitely 100%. So along with table practices and stuff, do you, I'm not sure exactly what you do for work, but does your work ever hinder you or anything in any way from, like, is it is it manually strenuous or anything on your hands, or anything that affects your arm wrestling at all?
No, I'm a shift supervisor at the youth detention center. So
Okay, sweet.
I don't really, do all that kind of stuff. But my work it's very forgiving because I work Sunday through Wednesday,
Hmm.
which means I have Thursday, Friday, Saturdays off.
Oh yeah.
So that means tournaments are 95% of the time on Saturdays anyway. So I'm good to go.
Uh-huh.
Now, if it's in earshot distance, I'll probably drive the day of and then come back. Like this weekend, I'll be in Myrtle Creek because
Okay.
it's the Joe Woody Invitational, and all proceeds go to the suicide prevention program. And I've made sure it's the last Saturday of July every year, and I always make it a point to go there either compete or help ref. Because I'm a certified ref to
Oh
help
really?
and go there and do that. But it's only like a 3.5 hour drive because where I'm located in the state of Oregon, we're like right in the middle, so I got to travel anyway. But yeah, I'll just go there for the day. My wife and I will probably leave Friday, and then go down there for the event. The event's done. Come back home. Probably sore if I compete, and then get ready for work. The next day, get ready to roll.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think I've heard several people say that, and I actually think that arm wrestling is a lot more of a family-oriented thing than most people I think realize.
Right.
As far as your wife actually wanting to go with you and everything, probably because she's friends with other people's wives and other people's families or kids or whatnot who y'all have met along the way. And I just think it's cool how everyone can be involved and they can actually arm wrestle. If you got kids or you got women, there's a lot of tournaments and a lot of different competitions now that offer a spot for everyone. So I think that's awesome.
Well, I think this sport is like a fraternity or a sorority, if you may,
Mm-hmm.
where once you get in the sport, it's kind of hard to explain our sport to people who don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
I can explain it to them, and then once I get done, they still got this question mark over their head, right?
Uh-huh.
So, for me, I've never met you, but I know if I went to a tournament in your area, we could just sit there, tournaments all said and done. What's up, man? Let's have a beer and have a
Mm-hmm.
burger and chit chat for a while. That's what we do. And
Yeah.
I know it's hard for people to understand that because people ask me, hey, well, are you friends with these people? Do you know them personally? Are you worried that you might get jumped or beat up because the intensity on that they see on the table? I'm like, no, I'm
Oh.
not worried about that at all. It's just, hey, I mean, I like what I do. I've been doing it for so many years. I got so many friends around the country, in Canada, United Kingdom, and everywhere, and all that kind of stuff. So I've maintained those relationships, and it also helps that I got 2 podcast shows I'm the host of.
Oh
You
shoot.
know, I'm the host of my show Arm Talk, and then I'm
Okay.
the co-host of the Can-Am Connection with Ryan Espy up in Canada. So
Oh
we
shoot.
have our show every Monday morning. So that does help too. So
That was going to be one of my other questions was, do you have a YouTube channel? And if so, I'll 100% put the link in the description. And so,
yes,
that's awesome.
Jody Chocolate Thunder Williams is the link. So everybody out there, I put workouts on there. You'll see some matches on there, training tips, all that kind of stuff. Just try to stay relevant. I don't try to put stuff out there to where, hey, I got this new idea. It's just a
Mm-hmm.
different way of thinking. My last video I put out there for cupping,
Mm-hmm.
where I took a fat grip, and then the leg machine. You do leg extensions.
Yep. Uh-huh.
The foam, I actually use that as a way of, I sat
Oh.
I sat my chair up 90 degrees, so I'm sitting like this straight up, and then I would bring the leg extension up,
Uh,
and I would just let it roll, and I would just sit there and just cup, just something I was messing around with. I'm thinking, you know what? If they came out with a machine, they probably charge about $300 for it.
oh
And so
yeah,
I just
all day
decided,
long.
yeah, I took off the foam, slapped on the fat grip, and started doing that. So I was like going, oh, I like this, because I can work on my cup. Um, thank God I haven't had a whole lot of injuries in this sport, knock on wood. But I am suffering a issue with my right wrist after my last super match last month. But
Uh-huh.
I'll have to heal on its own.
Yep, I definitely understand that. You've touched on you said a couple things I want to touch on. One is you are a certified referee. And
Yes.
as far as I think my side of the United States goes, over on the East Coast, I think Leonard Harkless is a really good man to talk to if you want to become referee certified. But also, I wanted to go ahead and ask you of if somebody wanted to become referee certified or even at least dibble or dabble or try to get started in refereeing, what is your opinion on that?
I think everybody should do it.
Mm-hmm.
I got my certification underneath the Leonard Harkless tree. So, you can also go to Bill Collins. I'm sure Frank and Karen Bean may do that. I'm not sure anybody else on the East Coast who can certify people. Sean Hancock down south can do that.
Yeah.
Corey Miller can. But I think people need to understand. I think now they're understanding that everybody is influx in tournaments. What I mean by that, when COVID put a halt to everything and nobody was doing anything, and then all of a sudden we got the green light to have events again.
Yeah.
Everybody just flooded the scene with tournaments. But the thing is, though, is that you got to have referees. And I always thought without a referee, you ain't got no tournament. That's just the way it is, right? So you got to understand that I think people are starting to understand that, oh, we should have a tournament here. Okay, well, who are you going to get reffing? Because the one thing you don't want, and I'm a stickler for this, you don't want to sit there and have a tournament and all of a sudden someone snap their arm or tear something because you got somebody up there who really doesn't really know. Maybe they might have been the ref who said ready to go out of practice, but an actual tournament, they don't have that experience. So they may or may not know what to look for. So, when I'm a referee, and for me, I'm a certified, as far as on the bigger events, I'm a certified junior ref, which means I can do the down reffing. At a local event, I can sit there and just, okay, I'll be head ref. Give me somebody to just watch the elbows. I'll take care of the rest because I've done that. But I think people should start doing that because, for me, I'm not going to pull forever. I'm 46 years old. Once it gets to a point where I'm done, or if I rack up injuries, knock on wood again, and it take its toll, then I'm going to be able to go, okay, I still want to be in the sport. How can I do that? Oh, hey, Jody has a podcast show. Oh, hey, Jody's a certified ref. Hey, Jody, you mind if we fly you out to Phoenix for this tournament? We'd love to have you ref. Yeah, I can do that. Hey, we'll pay for your airfare. We'll pay you for the event. Okay, that's how it works.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. And I know I'm actually guilty of that as far as, we've had super matches and we've had even small couple local tournaments some guys on the team have, and they've actually had legit referees for the little local tournaments we've had, but we've had a ton of just practice super matches, and there really isn't very, at least in my area, to my knowledge, there's not too many very certified refs. There's only just a few that I know of, but they're still a couple hours away. And so it would be, yeah, that is good, something to think about, because it seems like everybody's becoming arm wrestlers and everybody wants the super match, but you don't ever hear anybody really saying, well, hey, I want to be a referee,
Well, it's rough because, and I'll tell you something, Derek, here's the thing about being a referee, or it could be an umpire in baseball, referee in football, really. Official.
Shit job.
And you make a call, someone's going to be not happy. I wouldn't ever find like, yeah, it was. And, the worst thing you do is change the call because you got influenced by somebody, right?
Yeah.
Another thing that's rough is that for me, if I know a tournament's being filmed and, I'm in my zone, I'm calling, elbow foul, here, or, hey, match, parallel pin, this guy wins.
Yeah.
Once that's all said and done, I'm on to the next competitors to the table. Let's go. And they'll ask me later on, hey, who won that match? And I couldn't honestly tell you. Because I'm so worried about, get the match over. Good. Hey, winners, go to the bracketiers, because that's another thing you got to do, because especially with amateurs, that they'll win. They're so excited. They go back to their crowd or their, posse, and they forget to go to the bracketiers table and say, hey, my name is Derek. Sorry, hey, I won.
Exactly.
You got to let them know. It's like herding cats. Like, dude, go tell them you won, because if you don't, they're going to say, hey, the other person won. And the next thing you know, it's like, what the hell? I've put on a bunch of tournaments, here in Bend. We've done our second annual LOD Foundation tournament. And what's frustrating is that, okay, everybody registration, we all know some tournaments don't start on time. So it's a lot of things that play into that, right?
Right.
Hey,
getting
man.
Everybody weighed in and all that, getting everybody signed up and all, right?
How about this, Derek? You've been there before. Check this out and tell me what you think. Hey, the event starts at 2:00, but weigh-ins are from noon to 1:30, which means 1:30 we're done with registration. We're shut everything down. but then you got some stragglers rolling around 145. I'm like, dude, you're killing me because you're holding everything up now. And now we got to reshuffle everything and put your name in and blah, 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 blah. Now 2:00 starts, ends up being like 2:45. And it's like going, man, you're killing me, right? So there's that. Then while you're getting all the brackets already, then you got people coming by. I've never seen so many eyes over my shoulders before. And, you know, the tournament we did, it was my wife and I and Leonard. We're all sitting at the table, you know, getting these brackets together. And all of a sudden you got people coming in. Hey, I was wondering, how many people in our class? Dude, go sit down. Seriously, you're gonna make me knock you out. Dude, we're trying to get to this thing right here, right? You got people they'll walk by, they kind of go, seeing what weight class is in their class, how many guys they got, or who their first opponent is,
or who they're pulling, or
Right. So it's like going, dude, they'll call your name. Now, normally, if you've been around the sport long enough, this is how it goes. Okay. If you got an odd number, there's, you know, if it's like 9 people, somebody's gonna have a bye. Okay. If you have 10 pullers in a class, it's an even number, but to make it even, then 2 of those people are gonna have byes. One at the top of the bracket, one at the bottom of the bracket. That's if you've been around long enough, you'll understand that, right? And by the way, not to mention, you got to understand and know that you got to be very, very patient. Because if you don't, I mean, my wife's about ready to throw some people out because it's once she gets in the rhythm, then she has to stop. Then she has to go back. Okay, hey, did you call the 198 amateur class? Dude, we're on the 242 open class now. God, she has to go all back. Yes, I called you. Oh yeah, sorry, I was using the bathroom, so I didn't hear my name called. It's always something, you know. So it happens.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like a labor of love. 100%. Never,
Right.
I've never ran a big tournament, but I've definitely watched a few, and I could definitely picture how that could easily be chaos. Maybe there needs to be, you know, like say the tournament entry price is say $30, you know, $30 a weight class, $30 an arm or whatever. And then, you know, if somebody comes, you know, past the time of weigh-ins, then it's, you know, it's $40.
I'm thinking about that.
So charge 30 and then say, well, if you come after, if you're a late weigh-in, it's 40. You know what I mean?
You know what? That's not a bad. I think my wife and my son are going to dinner tonight. I think I might bring that up. Well, last year we had this tournament and it was outdoors. It was like 95 degrees. It was nice, pretty, right? And Denise came down there. Denise Wallace came down there.
Yeah.
And she can do the brackets by herself.
Yeah, she's a big player, 100%.
Right. Well, she couldn't come this year. So then it was like, okay, who's going to do the brackets? So my wife had to, you know, get away from, you know, the merchandise aspect of it and then help do the brackets. And it kind of just, you know, which meant Leonard, just to double check to make sure she was doing it right, he had to come away from reffing. So there's only 2 refs.
Right.
Me and a guy named Pastor Mark Owen. And we had 2 tables, but instead of having both tables going at the same time like last year, we had 2 tables, but it was like, we're going to run this table match. Now we're on here, match. Now we're back over here. So the tournament took kind of longer than it should be. Yeah. You know, so we're going to try to fix that up for next year.
Well, that was just a little bit of idea I said, of at least give some people some incentive to be on time, and also definitely remind them for next time that, hey, you could have saved $10 an arm if you would have been on time.
Right. Because I mean, I don't think the pullers understand that aspect. Like, all you got to do is show up and pay, where we have to gather all the information, make sure that you're in the correct class. And then, God forbid, oh, hey, I changed my mind. I think I'm going to go ahead and pull one more class. Or, hey, instead of left hand, I think I'm going to go right hand instead. It's like going, oh, my God, dude, I'm going to drop kick you through this window. Like, you're messing everything up right now. And then after hearing all that, then you got somebody going, hey, it's 2:15. How come the tournament hasn't started yet? Dude, bro, go get a pizza. Calm down. All right. You know, it's chaos. But, you know, I kind of thrive on that. So.
Yeah, definitely is a lovely part of the sport. I think maybe if I could get, maybe not even me, but if anybody could get somebody like Leonard or yourself to go through the like referee handbook one time. I've asked Leonard about it and about being referee certified, and he sent me the informational packet. I believe it just consisted of the rules, of engagement, more or less, you know, like it's basically the referee's handbook, and just maybe kind of could give an example on video of, you know, like what happens when you know, like standing in front of a table, what happens like when you have to stop a match for an elbow foul, how you'll
Right.
like actually physically say stop and put your hand on them, and then you'll, you know what I mean, make the signal, you know, for who, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
kind of do that on video, and then just kind of run through the book with the hand signals, and then that way if anybody was going to try to referee themselves in a practice or whatnot, they could at least look and see what the actual real referees do, you know, with the handbook. But that's just an idea I had. May come
No,
out.
I like that. And since we're talking about refereeing, it's kind of weird because not all certifications are the same way. Because
Okay.
I know, and this is no knock on anybody, so I don't want
Right.
anybody,
Just
get
an explanation. Right.
right. If you go with Bill Collins, right, out of
Okay.
California, and he has some guys he's certified. Vosgin is one of them. They
Yeah.
do things a little differently as far as refing that Leonard taught me.
Okay.
Not a bad thing. It's just different, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, well, where sometimes for Leonard, if I'm the down ref, if their hands are not straight, I'm giving the signal. And then
Okay.
when the wrists are straight, then I go like that, then he can run it. Whereas
Okay.
other promoters are like, no, wrist,
Yeah. Yeah.
that kind of thing here. So it's weird, but when you're trained by some head referee, and then you go to a different tournament because you got the qualifications, then you kind of go, oh, okay. Oh no, go ahead. Just I got you strapping up for one, right?
Mm.
All right, palms together, thumbs down and stuff. Where oh no, just I got it. Don't worry about it. I'm thinking, oh, okay. Well, that's weird to me, but whatever. Then you got the WAL setup where that's a whole different,
Mm.
set of Pandora's box set of rules.
Yeah, theirs is like a close and go. Like their referee's grip is so strange because it's like both competitors can close kind of simultaneously, and they allow for a ton of movement. So, like, I don't know how bad in the referee's grip I've seen Travis Bajan close here. You know what I mean? Like he
Yeah.
closes with his elbow like way at the front of the pad. It's wild.
Well, and the thing is, it's not a referee's grip, I don't think, because I've seen people actually when they do that, they actually when they close and then kind of get a little torque. And
Yeah.
I'm like going, what are we doing over here? I'm like, do you not see that? But that's just one of those things. It's just I understand why they do that format because you don't want to be at a tournament 8 hours long.
No,
Totally
theirs
get
is
that.
about that, right? They just want to get things moving, start matches, right?
I like the wall format as far as what they do. Because hey, I would love to be one of these days to be on one of those shows just to say, hey, I did it,
Yeah, me
that kind
too.
of thing. The problem with that, I do the setups. I do like the WAF IFA setups because it kind of makes you pull and control.
Mm-hmm.
Where I think sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes you can get a little radical on the table because hey, I got to run a foul. Then let me just let me get stupid and stuff. It's like going, okay, now, hell, you remember that one? What year was that? 2016, something like that. I think one of those big wall tournaments. They had like 6 arm breaks that whole tournament.
I never heard that.
Yeah, it was like 2016. I want to say it was in like Vegas or something. And there were 6 arm breaks because the problem with that was, and that was something they fixed along the way because it was like, hey, it's wall, hey, armor. It was like our generation's version of over the top, where everybody and their aunt came down there and competed. Problem was you got open guys because there's money on the line. So all the big names are coming. But then when you line them up with like, amateurs and they don't know what the fuck they're doing anyway,
Yeah.
that can be a bad recipe. But nonetheless, there were 6 arm breaks. And I'm like going, good Lord, I didn't go. I mean, I qualified, but I couldn't make it. So it's like, good Lord. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And so I kind of felt bad. And ever since then, it's like, you know what? I want to be a ref because if you want to have tournaments, especially here in Oregon, which tournaments here are few and far between anyway, let me be a director or promoter, then let me ref the thing. Because that way, I want everybody to be safe. I don't give a rat's ass. Oh, I think I had him. I was like, dude, I'm not having that on my conscience. Yeah, you signed a waiver, but I am not having it on my conscience. Plus, I don't think the pullers understand why they're in their zone that, oh, I think I got this when they're doing that bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't mind the press. I ain't pressing out here, but I'll kind of come here. I don't think they understand that if the arm breaks, all you think about is you.
Yeah.
If you're a director, yeah, you sign a waiver. Now you got to think about crap. You know, the refs have to step in. We got to call the ambulance. Then we got to make sure whoever's in charge of the venue, hey, I'm sorry. And then, damn it to hell, they're like, you know what? This is what's going to happen. I don't want this at my venue next time around. Now you got to find another venue. And I don't think pullers understand that aspect of it, you know? So.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. It seems like we're just getting warmed up, but I guess Zoom has a 40-minute limit on it. If you don't